So does Dorito have cheese or Cool Ranch? My name's Greg, you're watching How to Play Paintball. So for this video, what I wanted to do is, this is something that you can show friends, or maybe you're just getting into paintball and they have no idea what you're talking about when you're on the field and are trying to explain what bunker you're even talking about, whether it be that you're playing or if you're watching a match with someone. This way you can show them, they can get the main idea of the bunkers themselves. So the first bunkers that we're going to look at are the Doritos. Now, if you're in England, they call them tea bags, but you can see why they are called Doritos in the States. These triangle shaped ones, so this would be a little Dorito or mini Dorito, and that would be a large Dorito. So if anyone is ever talking about the Dorito, it's these pointy ones. And then when we're talking about the snake is usually going to be the low-lying bunkers that you have to kind of crawl down. Now the snake can be like this one where there's two, there might even be more than that, but usually there's a snake side and a Dorito side. So from time to time, the league will switch up. If there's, you know, two snakes, there might be two snake sides or two Dorito sides, but for the most part, there's usually going to be a Dorito side and a snake side. So the next ones we're going to look at are the Aztecs. So these are the Aztecs. They're kind of a smaller looking temple. And then you have the temple. So some people call them towers, but temples are the taller ones. Aztecs are the shorter ones. All right, and next up, we have the can. So it looks just like any soda can, whatever. So there's the cans, and then there's also pins. Some people have called them trees before. I usually call them pins, which are smaller cans. And you can play any of these bunkers, but usually the pins are pretty hard to play. They're usually there to block someone being able to shoot, or make it where it might open up some more moves for different players. Okay, then we have the wing. So the wing can be standing up. You can see it kind of has like a boxy section, and then it slopes down. So this would be a larger wing. And then over here, we have the little wing, the mini wing, whatever you want to call it. You can see it's just kind of the little brother. So these can be standing up, they can be laying down. So they're modular. That's something that's really cool about these bunkers, is it's not always going to be positioned in this way. Even with any bunker, they can turn them. They're on a grid system. So usually it's going to be mirrored out, so you have the same bunkers on both sides. Next up, we have the brick. So these are bigger. Obviously, you can see why they're called bricks. These, just like the wings, you can stand up, but they also have little brothers. So the little brothers are like little bricks, mini bricks, whatever you want to call it. And then this little guy over here is called the Mini W. So it used to be that there was a bigger one of these, which actually had a W shape, but these have kind of stayed around for a little bit. But these are little Ws. I know they don't look like Ws right now, but that's just what they're called. So in the snake, you're going to notice that there's usually going to be these, and these are called beams. So they're just longer rectangular shapes so that people can crawl down. And then usually you're going to have something like this. Now this would be a cake. You can see it's kind of triangular at the top. So it kind of looks like a slice of cake. That's just what it, I don't know who came up with it, but that's just kind of what we have been calling them. So the other thing I wanted to mention was just kind of some basic calls if you hear someone say something. So usually the field you can split into like a 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50 yard line. So think of it just like football. It's not actual yards, but if someone was saying the 50, they might be over here. So if they were in the middle of the field, you would call this the 50. So the 50 snake, the middle 50, 50 Dorito, things like that. If they call that and you hear 50, it's an indication that it's at the middle of the field. Another kind of common call that you'll hear, so if someone doesn't want to use, you know, the Aztec or whatever, is they'll say the corners. So the Dorito corner would be the bunker that's in the cornermost part of the Dorito side. And same with the snake, you're gonna have the snake side would be the snake corner. Something else that you'll notice is people will usually call the back center home. And this is just kind of, again, a normal thing that people say is that this is home. The back center is usually going to be that, but something close to the back center is going to be nicknamed home. But usually, right next to the home, you have this. So this is your start box. This is where all players have to start off. Their barrels have to be touching this, and if they come off early and shoot downfield, they can be eliminated. It can be up to the ref's discretion. Sometimes they'll jump and tag back up and they haven't shot a ball. Sometimes the refs will let it slide, but basically it stops it from having a disadvantage for the other side. If I was able to start pointing downfield and have exactly where my lane needs to be, well, that's not exactly fair. So you have to practice coming off and shooting. Another thing I wanted to point out was when players are saying he's down the wire or down the tape. What that means is there's usually an out of bounds line. So for recreational fields like out here, there's not really going to be an out of bounds per se, but at tournaments they'll have like a spray painted line, something to indicate where out of bounds is. But usually down the wire or down the tape is when you're shooting down that section. So this would be shooting down the wire or shooting down the tape. The other thing is if they say I'm shooting inside or this person is shooting inside. Think of it like inside the field is going to the middle of the field, outside is going to the out of bounds. That's where that terminology comes into play. And the last thing I'll leave you guys off with is basic call outs. So whenever someone eliminates a player, they usually will say, you know, like kill 1, kill 2. This just helps to make sure that we have the count correct of how many players have been eliminated. Sometimes people will have different codes. A lot of times you'll hear kill. So it's just kill 1, kill 2. If it's 5 on 5, you get to kill 4 or 5. The game's pretty much over for the other team. There will be some calls that people will use for our side. So if we lost a body, you know, down 1 or ball 1 or, you know, whatever, to indicate how many players we have left. But the basic calls are just what we went over. I hope this helps you guys out, whether it be maybe you're a boyfriend or girlfriend that's watching your significant other play paintball, or just trying to understand it better, or you're just brand new. So thanks everyone for watching, and as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.